Your dog has been talking to you this entire time, and you've probably been misunderstanding it. Some of the things you think mean your dog is happy can actually mean the exact opposite. Here are some shocking dog body language signs every owner should know. Wagging tail. You see a dog wagging its tail, so you assume it's happy, right? That mistake could be dangerous. Most people think a wagging tail means only one thing: friendly. But dogs don't just wag their tails when they're happy. They also wag when they're nervous, when they're anxious, and sometimes when they're preparing to defend themselves. Imagine walking up to an unfamiliar dog. Its tail is wagging, so you reach out to pet it, but then snap. What most people don't realize is that the tail tells only part of the story. A stiff body, pinned back ears, a rigid fast tail wag. These can all be signs that a dog is stressed or uncomfortable. So if a wagging tail doesn't always mean happy, how do you know what a dog is really feeling? Look at the entire body, not just the tail, because sometimes the friendliest looking wag is actually a warning. Yawning. You see your dog yawn and think it's sleepy, but what if that yawn is actually a cry for help? Most people assume dogs yawn for the same reason we do. They're tired, ready for a nap. Nothing unusual. But dogs often yawn for a completely different reason: stress. Imagine taking your dog to the vet. It starts yawning over and over again. You might think, he's getting sleepy. But in reality, your dog could be saying, I'm scared. Dogs often yawn when they're anxious, uncomfortable, or trying to calm themselves down in stressful situations. And the stranger the situation feels to them, the more likely they are to do it. So the next time your dog yawns, ask yourself one question: is it tired? Or is it trying to cope? Because context changes everything. A yawn during bedtime means one thing. A yawn at the vet, around strangers, or during a tense moment can mean something completely different. Your dog can't tell you when it's stressed. But sometimes a simple yawn says everything. Showing the belly. You think a dog rolling onto its back means one thing: rub my belly. But that's not always true. When a dog shows its belly, most people immediately reach down to pet it. And sometimes that's exactly what the dog wants. But other times, it's doing the exact opposite. Dogs will often expose their belly when they're scared, nervous, or trying to avoid conflict. It's their way of saying, I don't want any trouble. Imagine meeting an unfamiliar dog. It rolls onto its back, so you assume it wants affection. You move in for a belly rub, but the dog suddenly becomes tense, or even snaps. Why? Because what looked like an invitation was actually a sign of fear. So how can you tell the difference? Look at the rest of the body. A relaxed dog will have loose muscles, soft eyes, and a relaxed tail. A fearful dog may look stiff, avoid eye contact, or keep its tail tucked. So the next time a dog shows you its belly, don't assume it's asking for rubs. Because sometimes it's not asking for affection. It's asking for space. Dog's tail. What if I told you your dog's tail isn't just wagging? It's pointing to its emotions. Most people only pay attention to one thing: is the tail wagging or not? But scientists discovered something even stranger. The direction of the wag may actually reveal how a dog feels. Research suggests that when dogs are feeling positive, excited, or comfortable, they tend to wag their tails more to the right. But when they're stressed, anxious, or uncertain, their tails often wag more to the left. In other words, your dog's tail might be acting like an emotional compass. So the next time your dog starts wagging its tail, don't just ask, is it wagging? Which way? Because that tiny detail could tell you whether your dog feels safe or uneasy. Your dog may not speak your language, but every wag could be telling a story. You just have to know how to read it. Lip licking. You see your dog licking its lips, so you assume it's hungry. But what if that tiny lick is actually a sign of stress? Most people think dogs lick their lips for one reason: food. And sometimes that's true. But if there's no food around and your dog keeps licking its lips over and over again, could be feeling anxious. Imagine taking your dog to the vet. It's not barking. It's not growling. But it keeps licking its lips again and again. That could be your dog's way of saying, I'm uncomfortable. Dogs often lick their lips when they're nervous, stressed, or trying to calm themselves down. And because the sign is so subtle, most owners never notice it. So the next time your dog licks its lips, ask yourself, is there food nearby? Or is your dog trying to tell you something? Your dog can't tell you when it's anxious, but sometimes a single lick says more than a bark ever could. And before we continue, do you have a heartwarming story about your little furry friend? We'd love to hear it. Feel free to share it in the comments below. Your story might just inspire someone else and brighten their day. Play bows. Ever seen a dog drop its front legs, stick its butt in the air, and suddenly start bouncing around? That adorable pose is actually dog language. It's called a play bow, and dogs use it to send a very specific message. Everything I'm about to do is just for fun. Think about it. Dogs often chase, tackle, growl, and even gently bite each other while playing. To us, that can look like a fight. But before the chaos begins, many dogs perform a play bow. It's basically their way of saying, relax, I'm playing. What's even more fascinating is that dogs will often repeat the bow during play, almost like they're saying, hey, we're still having fun, right? So the next time you see two dogs wrestling, watch closely. Did one of them bow first? Because that tiny movement can completely change what's happening. Dogs may not speak with words, but with one simple bow, they can turn rough behavior into a game. And once you know what it means, you'll start seeing dog conversations everywhere. Avoiding eye contact. You might think a dog that avoids eye contact doesn't trust you, but in dog language, looking away can actually mean the exact opposite. Humans often see eye contact as a sign of confidence, honesty, or affection. Dogs don't always see it that way. To many dogs, prolonged direct staring can feel like a challenge, or even a threat. That's why dogs meeting for the first time rarely stare directly at each other. Instead, they'll often look away, turn their heads, or avoid eye contact altogether. And when your own dog looks away while you're close, it may not be ignoring you, could actually be showing trust and respect. It's your dog's way of saying, I know you're not a threat. But here's the interesting part. If an unfamiliar dog locks eyes with you and refuses to look away, pay attention. Because in dog language, a hard stare can be a warning. So the next time your dog looks away from you, don't assume it's being rude. It might actually be one of the most respectful things it can do. Lifting paw. Have you ever noticed your dog suddenly lifting one paw for no apparent reason? That tiny movement might be telling you a lot more than you think. Most people think a raised paw is just a cute habit. But in many cases, it's actually a sign that a dog feels uncertain. Imagine your dog meeting a stranger. Its body becomes still. It lifts one paw and hesitates. That small gesture could mean your dog is unsure, anxious, or trying to figure out whether a situation is safe. Dogs often raise a paw when they're faced with something unfamiliar or stressful. It's their way of saying, I'm not sure about this. And because the signal is so subtle, most owners completely miss it. But once you start noticing it, you'll begin seeing it everywhere. Your dog doesn't need words to tell you it's uncomfortable. Sometimes a single raised paw says everything. Dog's ears. Want to know how your dog feels without hearing a single bark? Watch the ears. A dog's ears can reveal its mood almost instantly. And once you know what to look for, you'll never see dogs the same way again. When a dog's ears are pointed forward, it's usually alert, curious, or focused on something. But if those ears suddenly pin back, that's a completely different story. Pin back ears can signal fear, anxiety, stress, or submission. Imagine approaching an unfamiliar dog. Its tail might be wagging, but its ears are flattened against its head. That dog may not be happy at all. And that's why dog experts say you should never judge a dog's mood by just one signal, because the ears often reveal what the tail is hiding. Your dog may not speak your language, but its ears are talking all the time. The question is, are you listening? Your dog isn't just being a dog. It's constantly telling you how it feels. And now that you know its language, you might finally understand what your best friend has been trying to say all along. Thanks for watching.